Hello everybody, Hulkrix here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere. And today we're going to be talking about the Men Shen, or Min Shen, or Mein Shen? I don't know. It is a 55-ton mech. Not too bad from the Capellans. It's got some bells and whistles going for it. It's an omni-mech, so you can outfit this thing however you want to. You don't necessarily have to go by the different variations of it that they list, but that's probably the most common versions of it. But we've ran it before in many games, and we have our own specific way of looking at it. It works out pretty good, which we'll get to eventually. Alright, so 55-ton mech, Omni. It's a 690, has mask. So yes, you can risk it for the biscuit and go for a turn and get a burst of 12 going for you. So you can get across the table pretty quickly if you need be. Get that 4 mod going for you. So there's that going. So not too bad. It has 10 double heat sinks on board, so there you go. So that's the good thing. It has 176 points of armor for 11 tons of standard slab armor on board, which is what, I think half a ton short maybe? I think it is, like a half ton short of maximum. So yeah, that's pretty good for a 55-ton mech. The battle value is starting off with the base model here is what, 1580 I think it is. So yeah, it not overly cheap, but not too spendy either. So you have that going for you. So if you look at it, let's see, battle value, yes, 1550. All right, there you go. On board with your standard configuration, you have one thing I also have to add is that all of them come with a beagle probe. So that is standard equipment built into the center torso. So every version of this mech will have a beagle probe. So it screams at, well, it's not really a fast-moving scout, but it kind of fills the role of the Raven. It's kind of like a Raven Omni mech that's been beefed up by 20 tons versus 35. Yeah, it's like, what's not to like? So if you're a Capellan player and the Men Shen finally rolls in off the production line for your games, you might want to look at it. So, yeah. Now, the nice thing is it has 17 tons of pod space since it is an Omni-mech. So that is something that's, you got a lot of space for a 55-ton mech. So you can add some good firepower on it. You can add some bells and whistles, kind of like the version that we like to run in our games when we ever play it. So yeah, it gets the job done pretty good. Now, the standard configuration, the Prime, has obviously the beagle probe in the center torso, has an LRM-15 in the right torso with, what is it, it has 1 ton of ammo. So there's kind of a weakness right there. You got 1 ton. So long-term operations, yeah, you get 8 turns with that heavy weapon. Now, personally, I would, if it was up to me, yeah, I don't mind having the LRM-15 on board because that gives you some good long-range capabilities, and it has Artemis on board, so you're increasing the amount of firepower that when you hit, but at the slight weakness of only 8 shots. So it also has 4 medium pulse lasers on board. So there's that. I personally would probably take, let's say, 2 of those medium pulse lasers and convert them into standard medium lasers, or 2 or 3 standard medium lasers and add 1 more ton of ammunition on board. Now, it doesn't have a case, so there is a weakness right there for this mech. The potential of going sky high. Now, you do have a fusion light, or not a light fusion engine, but an XL fusion engine on board. So if you lose a torso, you're dead. So it doesn't carry case. So if you hit the ammo, it just goes up. The mech's going to disappear in a big Technicolor flash. But being that it's supposed to be running on the edges and the periphery of your operations, kind of acting as a scout, yeah, I personally wouldn't get it too close. That's why I think going with a couple standard medium, converting some of those pulse lasers to standard medium lasers would increase the firepower up close and continue your operations at a longer range. That'd be it's an Omni. You can do that. You can just say, hey, I want to change it right there. And that's one of the things I would go for, just to have some extra firepower for long-term operations. So if you're running like a convoy raider type operation, yeah, I would rather have a little bit more ammo to send stuff down range. And with an LRM-15, obviously you could set it up for, you know, doing indirect and all that lovely stuff. So you could have 2 tons of ammo and have 2 types of ammo. Okay, go that route too. So that comes in at a lovely 1550. So yeah, it does the job. Now the pulse lasers scream to me up close and personal for personal protection. So if there's no reason why you're not running this thing constantly. It runs fairly cool. So you're looking at 21 heat plus your run, that's 23. You can do that for a turn and, you know, not worry about any detrimental effects. Now, the second turn, you may have probably moved beyond the close target and shut off one of your pulse lasers to cool off, you know, and then the next turn you're back up to again. So you're doing 4 medium pulse lasers in the LRM-15, and then, or in the case if you converted it, like I said, then you got 2 pulse lasers, and then you're going to have the standard medium lasers. So you may not be firing the LRM. So you got your knife fighting equipment, and then you got your long range equipment. Depends on how you want to balance it out for your targets. Because sometimes you may have a nice juicy target sitting at range 7, which is the perfect firing solution for you with that LRM. You're going to throw that down range and then see what else can hit with that. Obviously, if you're in the sweet spot with the LRM, then your medium pulse lasers are going, well, not doing a dang thing because they're out of range. That's why having a couple standard medium lasers allow you to throw something a little farther down range, at least match up to some extent with your LRM, so you're able to hit something potentially. All right, so that is the MS1-O, the Prime version. Now there's a bunch of other different versions that they have in this lineup. Let's see here. Here we go. We have the A configuration. This one has an LBX-10 cannon. All right. So it has standard end cluster, so you got 2 tons of ammunition. It comes in at 1530 battle value. Has 3 ER medium lasers and tag. So there you go. That's the good thing. At least you're running ER medium lasers. And that's the other thing, is that you could probably throw in ER medium lasers instead of just the standard medium lasers. You know, swap out a couple of your, like I said, for more ammunition for the other one I was talking about. So you got that. So you get a little bit farther range, you know, going out to 12. So that's the nice thing. So, and then with the tag, obviously you can help out with your artillery operations there, which is similar to what you're going to have with the Raven, you know, and that aspect of it. So you're filling in that role of eyes and ears for you, and throwing stuff down range, helping out. You know, what's not to like about that? And let's see here. Let's look at that's the A configuration, Or did I miss anything with the A? Okay, yep, that sounds like everything. Obviously, it's got the Beagle probe, 2 tons of ammunition, and then you still got 10 double heat sinks with this one. All right. Then we have the OB version. Obviously, you got the Beagle probe. You got 4 ER medium lasers and 2 LBX2s that shoot out to 27. All right, this is kind of your flat cannon style mech. And it comes in at 14, about 1434, I believe it is. For battle value, it's a little cheaper, but with the 2 LBX cannons, you are able to potentially, well, it's about 4 damage, but I find the LBX cannons, it includes the LBX-10 of the previous version, work really good against vehicles. So if you can get into a flank on a side shot on most vehicles, you have a good shot of getting some motive hits on them, or even a motive kill for that matter, increasing your capability of just stopping. You know, it's like, you got the minus, why not just shotgun non-stop? And you have 1 ton of ammunition. So obviously if you got 1 ton of ammunition, I'm going cluster 100%. I'm not worrying about the solid. So I'm going cluster munitions, so that's giving you -1 to able to hit your target, which helps, you know, mitigate some of your movement modifier that you had, because like I said, most likely you're going to be moving at Mach speed. You're going to be running all the time. So with that, I look at this as, there's a VTOL out there. I'm going to shotgun it, see if I can get some rotor damage or hit a vehicle, hovercraft or any of that, even standard wheeled or tracked vehicles, trying to hit them in the flanks as best you can, get around the edges, and slow them down. So your follow-on force is you slow them down with your flak, and then you follow up with your other ones to hammer them down. So its job is not to do a lot of damage. It's just to try to get like motive hits. And if you're going against mechs, hey, the golden BB sometimes shows up. It's like 1 point of damage, and ooh, you left that ammo bay door open and I hit it with a floating crit. It happens. Or you get some head hits or something of that nature. What's not to love, right? And then we move on to the next one, which is the OC version. Alright, so this one has an ER small laser in the head. It has a Beagle probe, obviously, in the center torso. Got Guardian ECM, folks. Finally, we have some Guardian ECM in the right torso. And then we have 2 large pulse lasers. This comes in at 1435 battle value. Now, this is like, kind of says to me this is a city fighter, or you're trying to hunt down lighter mechs and trying to do some, you know, good damage, you know, 9-point shots with those large pulse lasers. But personally, I don't have a problem with having a medium or fast-moving medium mech or something of that nature having some pulse lasers. But I'm not a fan of just throwing all my tonnage into 2 large inner sphere large pulse lasers, because you have short range with them, and that's a lot of tonnage you wrapped up in them. So personally, I rather you take one of those and go back to the old concept of give me some ER medium lasers, and you know, go that route, and maybe another heatsink or something like that. This one has 11 heatsinks, so it does have the ability to dissipate the heat, because obviously you got 20 with that, and then you run, that's 22. So it's designed to eliminate all that heat. But I'd rather have something backing up those large one of those large pulse lasers, convert it over to some extra weapons to just basically, my concept is you shotgun them with as many hits as possible and not everything in your arms. Now, obviously, it doesn't have hand or lower arm actuator, so you can flip the arms. So it doesn't matter if you're running or going. So if they're behind you, you can flip your arms and shoot behind you. So there's no place that they can hide from you, no matter what. So there's that's going for it. So yeah, I'd rather take one of those large pulse lasers and give me a bank of medium weapons that I can just say, all right, you come in my direction, here, have a whole bunch of stuff like ER medium lasers, and maybe you could have a couple medium pulse lasers in the arm, replace that, and then have three ER medium lasers. So you have a plethora of weapon systems at your disposal for whatever you want to do. All right, go that route. Then we have the OD, the Delta version. All right, this obviously has the Beagle probe. This one now has an ER PPC in the right torso, 2 medium pulse lasers in the left torso, and then each arm you have an SRM-4, and let's see, 1 ton of ammunition to go between the 2 SRMs. So, and obviously you don't have case going on. So, but you have 11 double heat sinks, so you can dissipate some good heat. So obviously your long-range weapon system, I like having ER PPC because that can shoot up close if necessary, goes out to 23. What's not to like about it? Yeah, it's 10-point damage, but still, it's a good amount of damage no matter what is going on. I like that. 10-point blocks. Bang. The only thing is, if you're running, unless you have a good, decent pilot on board, yeah, your odds of hitting at longer ranges are pretty reduced. Doesn't mean it's not going to be 0, because if you got a slow-moving assault target or something out there, you know, you have that maybe has a 1 mod on it, you probably could hit it. Oh, there's that. But with the 2 medium pulse lasers and then the 2 SRM-4s, this is like the drive-by style kind of mech that I'm thinking that goes with this. Might work out halfway decent in a city fight, but you know, still, when I have a mech that I want a city fight with, I'd rather have some jump jets on board. But you know, that's here nor there. But the version that they have here comes in at 1581 battle value. I think it's 81, or that could be 31. It's hard to read that if that's a 3 or an 8. The way they have it situated. But, yeah. Maybe the paperwork here. CD version. Yeah, it's 81. Okay. The one thing, obviously, you're going to try to do the drive-bys. You got to get within 6 to get those pulse lasers going for you. Obviously, with pulses, it's going to mitigate your use of your running. You just have to worry about their movement modifier. And if it's a mech or a vehicle that's only got a 1 mod on it, hey, it's like you take that all day, especially if you got a 3 pilot. Obviously, that's going to raise your battle value up, but for your gunnery. But you know, your odds of hitting are pretty good. All right, but obviously, you got to be in close to get some of those. Ability to actually get it in range and hit. So that's the downside, because you only got 6. And the SRMs are your secondary long-range weapon system, at which you go out to 9. So, but this is crit, kind of screams at me crit hunting type of mech with the 2 SRMs. Then we have the OE, the Echo version. All right, this one has a Beagle probe, obviously. Medium laser in the right torso, plasma rifle in the right torso, and then you have a medium laser in the left torso, 4 light machine guns in the right arm, 4 light machine guns in the left arm, so you got 2 machine gun arrays in left and right arm, and then you, so basically your 1 long-range weapon system is your plasma rifle with 2 tons of ammunition, and then you have the light machine gun with in each torso have 1 ton of ammunition in each torso. So yeah, personally, you probably could have just gone with 1 ton and add another ER medium laser to back up that plasma rifle. But this is sort of telling me that this is like you're going into a city or any type of area that's going to have lots of infantry, and you're just going to mow those suckers down, turn them into Swiss cheese. You know, with two light machine gun arrays, yeah, they don't do the full effect that you will have with a standard machine gun, but you know, it does a good job of killing infantry. But I've always said I'd rather take a flamer. In this case, give me 2 flamers instead of the machine guns, and then I don't have to worry about the ammo. And then back it up with some ER medium lasers or some standard medium lasers, for that matter. I'd rather go that route personally. Yeah, and I don't have a problem with the plasma rifle. Those are nice. And this comes in with 10 double heat sinks, and I think 1625 for your battle value. So, like I said, this version to me is like, oh, we're gonna go and clear out infantry platoons. Just run by one, unleash everything you can under that platoon, move on to the next infantry target, and you just keep running around. Yeah, they may plink some damage off of you, but they're going to be on the receiving end of a lot of firepower. So the odds are they're probably going to disappear pretty quickly, unless they're in buildings, which kind of degrades the amount of damage they're going to be taking. But, yeah, that's here nor there. Depends on the situation. You have to go with what you got, right? And then we have the OF version. All right, this one has tag once again in the right torso, target computer in the left torso, and 2 snub-nose PPCs. All right, like it. I like the snub-nose PPCs for what they allow you to do. Obviously, the damage output varies by the range, but you know they work good. I don't have anything to say bad about the snub-nose PPC. And if you back it up with a targeting computer, you know, that helps mitigate a little bit of your modifier for your movement. And this comes in at 1648, but if you throw in like a 3 gunner on board, that's going to be obviously higher. So, yeah, you just have to figure out what that's going to be. But you have a bunch of weapon systems that go out to 15, including your tag. So this is going to be working for you to find targets out at range. Obviously, some people may say, it's like, yeah, I'd rather have a couple ER large lasers instead of the snub nose. But when you get in close to medium and short, that just kind of goes out the window, because the damage output is equal at medium and better at short. So there's that. You just get by gaining basically 4 more pips of distance. So there. I don't have a problem with it. I like it. With a targeting computer. Now, you may have decided to swap out the snub-nose PPC, one of them for more short-range weapon systems to be able to hit your targets, but in closer. So, yeah, it's like that's one of those things where matching it up with your shorter-range stuff, keeping it within the same amount of tonnage for your targeting computer. So there's that. So that is the OF. Now, I was saying I do have a version that we like to use. All right. This one is a 696. Like I said, if I'm going to be fighting around with any type of operations where I need to maneuver around obstacles, over building, through building, that type of thing, I'd rather have some jump jets on board. You have an ER PPC in the right arm for your long-range distance shooting. You have the 10 double heat sinks. And then you have your 4 medium lasers and 1 ER medium laser. Now you could vary it by adding more ER medium lasers, but it's one of these things where you're trying to keep the heat down under the 20 mark for you. And then you got a flamer backing it up along with tag. So it still has that role of spotting and working with your follow on artillery forces, you know, that type of thing. But then you have a battery of close weapon systems, and you got your long-range weapon system with the ERPPC that allows you to hit your targets out at longer ranges. And this comes in at 1,400 battle value. So, not bad. It gets the job done. It always seems to work out pretty decently. And it's an Omni-mech, so you can configure it this way if you want to. Or you can decide that you want a second flamer, you know, have it a flamer in each torso, instead of, and then have 4 ER medium lasers, 2 flamers, and an ER PVC. You know, go that route to allow you to hit targets a little farther out. So it's, hey, your design, you make it how you want to. But this one seems to work out pretty decent for us, and a lot of our different games that we ever had. But there you go. That's the Men Shen. Not a bad little mech. It's like the Capellans actually finally got something that worked out pretty decent for them. So there you go. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcracks out.